Hey guys, welcome to Crappy Critics. Today I'm going to be reviewing Mayans MC Episode 2. So I'll start off with some non-spoiler thoughts of the episode and my overall rating on how I felt about it, and then I'll get into some spoilers and actually talk about some details. So I really liked this episode. It did a good job at delving into the character development which was needed with both Ezekiel and side characters. And it really did a good job at showing what's at stake for the Mayans working with the cartel. So this episode started off pretty intense, continuing with the plot down a path that I was honestly skeptical with from the first episode. But I'm honestly very intrigued now, and I'm kind of glad it's going down this path. This is some territory that I believe Sons of Anarchy never really went into. And like I said, this show is new and it's taking new turns. I'm very happy to see that this is not repeating stuff from Sons of Anarchy, and honestly I'm probably just going to stop comparing it. They did a good job of showing the humanity of all of our characters involved, and yet showing how evil this world is that they're involved in, and the downright brutal choices they'll have to make in order to progress and survive the ways that they think that they should. There's a lot to be offered in this episode, ranging from the fun, adventurous, yet twisted side of the Mayans, all the way to the downright harsh, dark side. But overall, I really enjoyed this episode. I give it an 8 out of 10, and I really think that everyone should jump in on this show. It's enjoyable, it's got that Sons of Anarchy feel while offering new themes and new storylines, and yet still offering a Sons of Anarchy cameo almost every episode. So I'm going to start jumping into spoilers. If you haven't seen this episode, I recommend you go watch it, or just click out of this video and go watch another video. So one of the lighter tones of this episode was the cameo of Chucky. If you don't remember Chucky, he was in the first Sons of Anarchy. He had prosthetic fingers, only one finger on each hand, thus being the reason because he's a chronic masturbator and got his fingers chopped off because of it. It does appear that he will be a returning character, considering he works with one of the main characters in the show. That was just kind of funny to see his face come around, and I really hope more comes out of him. I enjoyed his character in his goofy, kind of weird way in Sons of Anarchy, so I hope he does return in the future episodes. But with his introduction working with Coco was regarding the porn thing with Coco's sister. That little storyline I'm intrigued with, and I'm curious where it's going to go. But it made me care about Coco more as a character, and now I'm actually excited to see what happens with his character. While it was all very minor, small things this episode, it's definitely, you can tell, is going to continue on with that storyline, and I'm sure something's going to come out of it. But it did accomplish the fact of making me start to care about his character. So good job on them for doing that. It already has to show that apparently his home life is kind of sad. But with the beginning of this episode with the rebels kidnapping Emily's baby, I believe that is going to cause a major conflict with Ezekiel and his brother and their relationship with the rebels. Now, this being such a big deal is because this baby is Ezekiel's baby, considering the flashback back in the first episode showing that he broke up with Emily when he was in prison right before she revealed to him that she was pregnant with his child. The one thing that I'm not sure, because they never did straight up say that this is Ezekiel's baby, but they pretty much did with the first episode, is does his brother know that this is Ezekiel's baby? He obviously knows about his relationship that he had with Emily, but I don't know just how sensitive he knows, just how deep this goes with Ezekiel. But one of the bigger conflicts at hand is practically half of this chapter of the Mayans, their relationship with the rebels, and how they're technically traitors in that regard. Now this, I'm sure, will continue on. Who knows if it'll come to a head even by the end of this season, but I find it to be a very interesting plot point. I suppose we'll see if all of these Mayans stay true to their relationship with the rebels, or they stay true to their Mayan relationship and eventually betray Ezekiel and his brother, or maybe just his brother. I could very well see this relationship ending very badly, particularly Ezekiel's brother. I wouldn't be surprised if he does not survive this season. I know it's just the second episode, but I know how Kurt Sutter rolls with his killing of main characters in very sad fashion, but because of Kurt Sutter and his writing, that could be a reason that it will drag out and maybe happen a couple seasons from now. The Mayans may not know it, but they're right in the middle of the conflict between the rebels and the cartel, being the drug runners for the cartel and then also helping out the rebels at the same time. And ultimately, I wouldn't be surprised if eventually all the Mayans take the side of the rebels, considering the cartel's downright brutal nature and the fact that they killed the food truck runner and his son. It was very obvious to see that none of the Mayans were happy about that when it was going on. But for now, not all of them even know that the cartel killed them. And I think this will definitely strain the relationship that the Mayans have with Miguel in particular, because he did say that he would not retaliate with senseless violence. Of course, it's expected that he would retaliate when the time comes, but this was a retaliation against innocents. This was not against the rebels directly. It was more so a warning, a show of power and fear. So this was very senseless, and the Mayans are going to know that. But either way, this isn't looking good for Miguel, considering he's embracing the violent nature of the cartel while pushing away his wife by doing so. Emily's now more so embracing Ezekiel once again, which definitely isn't a good sign for Miguel, considering I'm guessing she's probably still in love with Ezekiel, and it's well known that Ezekiel's definitely still in love with her. There's a heavy past with that, and reigniting that flame could cause a heavy future for both of them. But I did find it very interesting for Miguel to learn about his dark past with his baby brother from his mother, and that ultimately being the reason why he kind of gave up hope and embraced the ways of the cartel. And I do hope that we learn more about his parents and his baby brother, and in particular his mother, and what went on with that. If we don't learn anything more about this, I think it's honestly a wasted opportunity, and I really hope they expand on it. That was my review for Mayans MC Episode 2. If you liked it, hit like, leave a comment, let me know what you thought about the episode, and subscribe and hit that bell icon. I will be reviewing the rest of this season, so stay with me and I'll keep reviewing.